My father left me a map to a house that was not there. The map arrived in a tin biscuit box with his death certificate, 3 brass keys, and a note written on the back of an unpaid gas bill. Eli, do not trust the road. Trust what the house refuses to face. I nearly threw it away. He had left when I was 9. No goodbye, no birthday calls, no explanation that survived longer than a week. My mother said he was restless. My aunt said he was selfish. I became a land surveyor because maps, unlike fathers, were supposed to mean what they said. The first coordinate led me to an empty field outside Marrow End. There was a gate with no fence, a postbox with no name, and a gravel path that stopped after 7 steps. Beyond it, wet grass rolled under a grey sky. I checked the map again. A woman behind me said, "You're early. It usually waits until dusk." She was in her 60s, wearing a red raincoat and carrying a grocery bag full of candles. Her name was Ruth, and she had known my father. "Known how?" I asked. "Badly," she said. "Everyone knows that house badly." At 6:17 the field folded. There is no better word. The far hedgerow bent inward like paper. The grass tightened into a lane. A chimney rose where the air had been empty. Then a narrow white house appeared with black windows and a blue door scarred by old locks. One of my father's brass keys warmed in my pocket. Ruth would not cross the gate. "The house never faces the person it hurt," she said. "It keeps turning until someone forgives the lie inside." I marked the gatepost with survey chalk, checked my compass, and went in. The hallway smelled of dust, oranges, and my father's shaving soap. On the wall hung survey maps of towns I had measured for work. Each had a red X drawn over a house that did not belong. In the kitchen, the kettle was boiling. My father's voice came from the next room. "Don't answer the phone, Eli." The phone rang. It was mounted to the wall, yellow plastic, the same model we had when I was a child. I picked it up because I had spent 22 years imagining what I would say if he called. My own 9-year-old voice whispered, "Is he coming back tonight?" I dropped the receiver. The house shifted, not far, enough that the window no longer faced the field. It faced my mother's old garden, summer bright and impossible. She was there in a blue dress, younger than I am now, burying something under the apple tree. My compass spun once, then settled 90 degrees wrong. Ruth entered behind me after all. "First lie," she said. "Your mother told you he left without warning." "He did." Ruth looked at the garden through the glass. "He warned her every night for a month." The house gave us a dining room next. 3 places set. 1 chair overturned. On the table lay a school photograph of me with the face scratched out. I hated him again so quickly it felt like relief. Then I noticed the scratch marks were on the glass, not the photo. Someone had tried to claw the reflection away. Ruth lit a candle. "Your father found this place when you were little. It offered him a bargain. Tell 1 true thing in each room, forgive 1 lie, and it would give back what he had lost." "What did he lose?" She did not answer. The blue door slammed behind us. The house moved again. This time it opened onto a hospital corridor. My mother sat in a plastic chair holding a paper cup. My father stood 10 feet away with both hands pressed to his mouth. Between them, behind glass, I lay in a bed with tubes taped to my face. I remembered chicken pox. I remembered cartoons. I did not remember dying. Ruth said, "You had a fever that stopped your heart for 4 minutes." No. Your father begged the house to trade. The corridor lights flickered. In the glass, my father's reflection looked at me. "I traded being believed," he said. The house had let me live. In return, every explanation he gave afterward would sound like a lie to the person who most needed to hear it. My mother heard excuses. I heard absence. Doctors heard confusion. Police heard a man inventing stories. He stayed for 3 years anyway. Then the house began moving closer to us. At the end, it appeared in our pantry, our hallway, the space under my bed. It wanted a second payment, so he left with it, following him. I wanted that to make him clean. It did not. He had still left a child to hate himself in the doorway. He had still let my mother carry the practical cruelty of rent and school forms and unanswered questions. Sacrifice can be real and still ruin people. The house liked that thought. The corridor stretched. Ruth grabbed my sleeve. Do not forgive him yet. Why? Because then it moves to the last room. What's in the last room? She looked ashamed. Me. The last room was my childhood bedroom, not as it had been. As I remembered it, smaller, warmer, the ceiling crack shaped like a river. My father sat on the floor beside my bed. Ruth sat beside him, younger, crying with both hands around one of the brass keys. She had been the doctor who signed my discharge papers. She had also been the woman who told my father about the moving house. I sent him there, Ruth said. I missed the infection. I wanted one miracle to make the chart look clean. In the bed, 9-year-old me slept with one hand open. My father placed a folded map in it. His voice shook. If I stay, the house takes him back. If I go, he keeps breathing and hates me. Let him hate me. The walls leaned in, listening. I took out my field notebook and drew the rooms as fast as my hand would move. Every shift had turned the blue door away from my mother. Not from me, not from my father. From the woman left to believe the worst explanation. I looked at my father, or the memory of him, and said, You saved me. You abandoned me. Both things are true. The house became very quiet. Ruth said, That isn't forgiveness. No, I said. It's the only honest start I have. The bedroom door opened by itself. Outside was not the field. It was every place the house had stood. Moor, alley, orchard, hospital, roadside ditch, the corner of my mother's kitchen. My father stood among them, older than any photograph, holding the last brass key. I wanted you to find a version of me you could love, he said. I found the one you left. He nodded once. It hurt more than an apology. I used the last key on the blue door from the inside and set my shoulder against the frame. Face her, I said. The house shuddered. Ruth screamed as candles went out one by one. The maps on the wall peeled themselves blank. When the door opened, dawn was lying over the empty field. Ruth and I stepped out. The house stayed behind us for almost a minute. Then it folded smaller than a breath and vanished. I went home and dug under the apple tree. I found my father's first map wrapped in oilcloth, along with a birthday card for every year he missed. None were signed. Everyone said the same thing. Still here, I have not forgiven him. Not yet. But the house took the only memory of him I had before the leaving. His hand over mine on a pencil, teaching me to draw a straight line. I know it happened because my mother found the photograph. In my head, there is only a blank white table and my own hand moving alone. But once a year, at 6:17 in the evening, a blue door appears at the edge of whatever room I am in. It never opens unless I touch the handle. I always touch it. I always wait until it moves away.